How do I invite him? Hello, whoever's there. I was just inviting people to the live. I don't know if you were here earlier when I was live, but you know, they tried to mass report me and it didn't work out for them. So here we're back. Sebastian, how are you? Okay, I see Sebastian, and there's a couple people here, but I can't see their names. Uncle Birch coming live from New Orleans. Yep, we're all back. It took 20 minutes for the appeal. It was a little long, but I had other stuff I had to do during that time, so I couldn't jump right back on. But here we are back taking our victory lap. Wonder Buns, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. We're just getting started, so we're getting some people in here, going to see what people want to talk about. The war has been the big topic today. We can do that or we cannot do that. It depends on you. That can go many different ways. But it takes a little bit for people to find their way back. We got Wonder Buns, we got Happy Girl, and Howard, how are you? Barb, how are you? Darlene, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. We're just getting started, so getting some people in here. Our last live was so controversial, we had to mass report it. Who dat? Who dat? Sounds like you might be from here, man. I don't know. That sounds like a New Orleans reference to me, man. Amber, how are you? Jixie, how are you? Pam, Jimby, Amber, not yours. How are you? Bethany, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. We're of course talking about the war, but whatever else you want to talk about. I'm a teacher of witchcraft, and in addition to being mostly known for teaching witchcraft, I'm like a one-trick pony. I got another trick. I teach magical warfare, and most witches won't do that. Occasionally, all right, well, hold on, I got to follow you back then. All right, yeah, we're over here. Whoops, come on, I just did follow back. Why you gotta let me follow it? Wait, well, you've requested, oh, okay, I gotta wait for you to accept the follow back. Okay, well, I just requested to follow you back like 3 times, so you should see that. I'm over here Bywater area, New Orleans. Who's that? Who's that living in Appalachia? Oh, you're living in Appalachia now. All right, whole different vibe. I totally follow you, Amber, not yours. Oh, good. Wait, let me see, Amber. What? God damn it. Welcome to regionals. Get out of there. I'm trying to follow Amber. There. Okay, now I'm following Amber back. All right. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. I am known for teaching witchcraft for a living. You can find me on YouTube as Uncle Birch, but you can also find my more serious classes at gumroad.com /witch school, which is the common spelling, one word. Outgrowing my pacifism. Yeah. Like I said, I think I did a video recently. I said, I think the first pacifist. Sure, yeah. First pacifist we know of in the world would have been Jesus, and he was assassinated, crucified actually. Then there was Gandhi, and he was assassinated, and then there was MLK, and he was assassinated. So I really don't see that as a workable strategy as far as history recognizes. We don't have a model of a pacifist that succeeded. Ode to my coffee, how are you? Estro Maimata, how are you? Peaceful Thunder, how are you? Oh yeah, I was gonna check the weather report and see if it was gonna rain. It kind of seems like it's gonna rain. It's pretty much raining every afternoon in the last week or so. Serbia, how the hell are you in Serbia? Well, Serbia is hopefully one place that won't be affected by our war, but a lot of the rest of the world will. Serbia, I'm more worried about being affected by Russia's war. Hank Bill, how are you? Anna Dawn, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's how I ended up in New Orleans. So that's where people like me should be. Either that or Salem, and I just don't like the Salem vibe. So, again, you can find me on YouTube. I think there's a little button under my profile for the YouTube, but it's Uncle Birch at YouTube. I'm the only one. You can just Google Uncle Birch and find all of my stuff, but you can also go to gumroad.com /witch school, common spelling. You'll find me there too. Kathy, hello. So, anybody want to jump in a box and talk about something? You want to talk about the war? You want to talk about witchcraft? You want to talk about using magic within the confines of warfare? That'd be kind of cool too. But you run the show. I can talk all day about nothing. My ancestors are from Salem in that area. We have problems with Alexander Vordic. My device is doing what? I didn't even see that. Alexander Vucic and Putin. Okay, who's that? Alexander Vucic? Is that like your leader over there? I don't know that name. Pretty versed on Ukraine and Russia, though. How about when not to use magic? Yeah, well, it depends on, when you're a young witch, yeah, there's a time to not use magic. There's a time to use the mundane. And when you're a witch of, closing in on 50 years of witchery, I don't know that I'm ever not using magic. I may not go to my altar and burn things and wave my arms around, but my mind is trained to be causing change in accordance with will. So even when I'm sitting on the couch, I most likely am probably using witchcraft, magic, anyways, because that's what I do. So yeah, there's lots of things, and you got to combine them. Like a classic example, you can't do a job spell and sit on the couch. And that's an old saying, and maybe it's not true anymore, because maybe you get an email from your online job you were looking for. But in the old day, we said you got to do the job spell and then get out there and fill out the fucking application. Classic one. If you ever seen Orange Is the New Black? Great show. And there was a woman that owned a Botanica, and she was in there because at her Botanica they were cashing in food stamps for cash, which a lot of poor neighborhoods used to do. And one of her clients was pissed off at her and turned her in. Listen to this story. So the client was mad. He said, "I bought that candle like you told me." She goes, "Yeah." He said, "I did what you told me." "Okay, what did you do?" "I fill out the application. I fold up the application towards me. I put it under the candle. And then I burn the candle. There's no job. There's no job." She looks at the guy and she says, "Did you also turn in an application to the job that you were trying to get?" He goes, "You didn't tell me that." It's like, magic's incredible, but not that incredible. Magic follows the path of least resistance. You not turning in the application for that job makes you very unlikely to get that job. That's a path of resistance. And so he was mad at her, and so he turned her in for cashing out food stamps, and that's why she's in the prison wearing orange, which is the new black. And it's interesting. She does some magic in there. She does some stuff with Elegua. There's some interesting magic that comes out from that particular character. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's still on Netflix. It's a great binge watch. But yeah, You got to do the legwork too. So yeah, you're going to put the thing under the candle. Now me, I would have put that application under the candle, burned the candle down, and then taken that application and turned it in to the prospective employer. People seen too much fucking Hollywood, man. Magic requires legwork often, but nowadays maybe not. You just you press send on your online application. Netflix, Orange is the New Black is the show I was talking about. Somebody just followed me. It does not say your name. Blank just followed. Thank you for following me, Blank. Those of you that are there, we got taken off the air earlier today, so if you got some spare time when you're there, can you just keep tapping the screen? And we're at 1.1 thousand likes. We want to have like thousands of likes, so when the haters come in to hate on me, I'll have too much love for the haters to win out, and I won't have to file an appeal and wait another 20 minutes to be able to go live again. But don't hate the player, hate the game. It is what it is. This is TikToxic. And I am Uncle Birch, coming to you live from New Orleans. It's a lovely day. It is like, I think it's in the 90s, 80% humidity, but I have my magic shirt on, and they still haven't paid me money, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But it's this crazy technology that once you start to sweat, it distributes your sweat around the shirt and then triggers this cold response built into the fabric. So like where I sweat, I got like there's cold spots under my arms and shit. It's a trip. And if you're coming to New Orleans for Hex Fest, might want to get one. Arctic cold. But they're not paying me yet, so I'm not really marketing their product. I just, it works. So it's work. Good evening. It was me who just followed you. Okay. Follow you back. You are Miranavascu. Hope I said that right. I sure gave it a good shot. Releasing anger to turn into abundance. It can't be done. I've got a class called Magical Warfare Feeding on Your Enemies. And in there we teach a sigil that can be used to convert any type of energy into any type of energy you want. So you could release that anger into that sigil and use that sigil to turn it into abundance. Definitely can be done. I just came across your channel. Instant follow. Oh, right on. Wow. Well, this is Uncle Birch 9, which means I've lost 9 accounts. No, I'm sorry. This is Uncle Birch 8. But Uncle Birch 9 was lost too, so I lost at least 8 accounts. But then there's Uncle Birch 10, which is my backup. If you could remember to follow that one too, in case they ever take this one down, I'll be able to go live over there. I don't post a whole lot at Uncle Birch 10, but that one is me. But I've been here a long time, and I've been here since the First Inquisition. First Inquisition, I was at 76,000 followers after 2 months. And that's when the Christians discovered witch talk. And they organized, as Christians will do. And certain people caught their eye. Controversial witches and stuff like that. And I was one of the first that they went after, mass reporting my account until there was nothing I could do about it. And the next account, I think I got in an argument with the Santa Muerte witches that believed that you could not work with Santa Muerte unless you joined their little community. And I said, I ain't joining shit. Santa Muerte walked into my life. She barged into my life, demanding recognition. I can tell you that story if you want. But I ain't joining your little club, man. And so then they mass reported. Other stuff, I said some stuff that pissed them off. Yeah. Ooh, thank you. Thanks for all the gifts. I also got my Venmo and my Cash App up there if you want me to get it all instead of TikTok. Please tell the story. I knew somebody said that. Okay, at any rate, I owned a witch shop in Santa Cruz for about 20 years, Santa Cruz, California, called the Sacred Grove. I ran that until I just didn't want to be in that town anymore. I didn't want to sell it off because I wanted to keep the brand and do it elsewhere. And so anyway, one day one of my workers told me, he says, look, this lady came in, and she has been rescuing Santa Muerte statues from roadside shrines in Mexico that were about to be torn down. For those of you who don't know, the Santa Muerte shrines in Mexico are usually like on public land. They're not authorized. They're just, somebody builds a little building out of some rocks by a roadside and makes a shrine for her. And Mexico respected that for a time, but then there was a time when they saw them as a blight. And criminals also worship Santa Muerte, so that was a problem too. And so they were tearing them down. And this woman was rescuing these statues. And so he showed me one of the statues. I go, whoa, well, who's this? She's badass. I said, tell me something of her. I said, well, she is, the saint of death. But she also is a saint of revenge, love, lust, money, and wealth. I said, whoa, that's way more than your average goddess. That's a lot of stuff she can do. And she's badass looking because she looked like the Grim Reaper, you know what I'm saying? And so he said, so she was asking me if we could find space to house these Santa Muerte statues in the shop and give them a place where people can worship them again. And most of my shop was not geared towards making money. I was not a good capitalist, barely kept the thing afloat for 20 years. And part of the time I did that by working a second job to pay the rent on the shop, man. My shop had more altar spaces than retail spaces for all kinds of things. There was an altar in every fucking corner for something. So the day comes, I've made the agreement. I said, absolutely, we must do that. This is a homeless goddess, saint, whatever you want to call her. We must provide her a home. So the day comes, I'm there, woman shows up, opens her back seat, and it was like a clown car of death. They kept coming. They started this big, they got this big, they got this big, and then one that was 7 feet fucking tall. In all of the colors that a Santa Muerte can be, and all of the skills that a Santa Muerte can be. Now, I had done my homework before she showed up. I did not know her. I wanted to know what her likes, her dislikes were. What are the sacraments that she tends to accept? What type of things are typically on her altar? And I had that all ready to go, but I didn't realize how big an altar I was going to have to build. I had a 25-foot bookcase, 6 shelves tall. She took up 15 feet right in the middle, and I built a multi-level fucking shrine for this goddess that I did not know yet. And I put copal up there, I put some charcoals up there, I put a little burner up there, I put some tequila up there, I put a cigar up there, I put little petitions, a little magical pen, so people could do their little petitions in a little bottle for them to put their petitions in. And motherfucker, about a half an hour after I complete that altar, bless it to the best of my ability, just kind of, okay, this is what I know of the goddess, this is how I would do it as a pagan, so I'm just going to work that, and hopefully she's not going to be mad at me, because she's hardcore. And 30 minutes after I got that fucking shrine done for Santa Muerte, this guy comes in my front door on his face, crawling No, he looks every so often to make sure he's not going to bump into anything, but face down, doing a belly crawl through my store. And that's when I realized I hadn't mopped in a while, man. He was leaving a clean spot across my floor. But anyway, he crawls to that fucking shrine, pulls himself up to it, looks at the stuff I have on the shrine, and immediately I have everything he needs. He's burning copal. He's fucking got the cigar. He's spraying fucking tequila on her. He's filling out his little petition, putting out, I'm going, yes, yes. Welcome. Welcome to the Sacred Grove, Santa Muerte. I will learn a lot about you, and I will then make offerings to you as well. But I have offered you a shrine, even though I don't know you. And she's been really good to me since then. So when the Santa Muerte people came along and tried to tell me that I can't work with Santa Muerte unless I fucking join their little community, so fuck you. She barged in on my life. She hit me over the head. I had to accept her. And I fucking did. And I always have. And when that shop closed up, I found homes for every one of those statues, and I kept one. I kept one. And that one is a rainbow Santa Muerte. So she covers everything that Santa Muerte is going to do. Right by my fucking front door, she's got her own fucking little shrine there, and she has never steered me wrong. So, you know, again, if you're still out there, Brujo, whoever the hell you were, all the Santa Muerte people, you were wrong, and fuck you. Gods don't recognize borders. They don't do what you say. They don't fit in your boxes. They don't stay in your boxes. They will travel wherever they want and seek out whoever they want to work with them. And you don't get a vote in that, you little peasant. That's the story. See, I come from the storytelling school of witchcraft. And you go and take my classes, you'll find that out. I'll just start telling you a fucking story. And you just think you're listening to a story. And then later you're going to go back and look, it's like, whoa. I learned 9 or 10 really important craft things from that fucking story. And I didn't even know I was learning, because that's the best way to teach. When you sit there thinking, I am going to learn now, you've set up a path of resistance. There's some blockage. Somebody telling you a story, just entertain you, just listen to a story. And then all of a sudden, you know a bunch of shit that you didn't know before. Jen, thank you. Who Dat? Oh, Who Dat was the one that asked for the thing. So I had one stolen and was like, okay, good luck. Yeah, no shit. Well, Who Dat? I don't know if you saw it. I have a video, if you scroll back, called Other Dirt, where about a couple miles from here is the last battlefield of the Battle of 1812, the Battle of Orleans. And in that battle, there's it's a national monument, and there's these ramparts that are still standing, and, you know, prop cannons and stuff. And so you can see there's like the French, the Americans, the Spanish, the freed slaves, and a bunch of pirates were on this side of the ramparts, the guys that won, right? The British were marching across this open field over here. And they had some plans. They had these ladders that they were going to use to scale over the ramparts. But the French had developed this type of warfare that the world had never seen before. Firing from behind cover, rather than marching right at each other and shooting each other like everybody else did. The French invented that, so they're firing from behind the ramparts, just picking the British off. And the order goes for the infantry to advance before the order goes for the ladders to advance. So having the ladders did nothing. The ladders did not make it before the British were mowed down. And it was the last battle of the War of 1812. Which was won here in New Orleans. So that side of the battlefield is excellent battlefield dirt for victory. Graveyard dirt is oh so passe. Battlefield dirt is where it's at. Now, if you get the dirt from this side, that's battlefield, that's victory dirt. And if you get the dirt from that side, well, that's battlefield loser dirt. So you put that dirt on your enemy, and you put this dirt on yourself, and then you win. Now, I had an extra bag of this battlefield dirt, and a bunch of Irish moss from the tree at the rampart, the oak tree, and Spanish moss, I'm sorry, Spanish moss, and several acorns in a baggie in my car, in the center console. And the other day I came home, I was just running in for a few. I was in a hurry. I didn't lock the car. And somebody looked in that car, and I'm sure they thought it was a bag of weed. And they stole that bag of battlefield dirt and battlefield Spanish moss and battlefield acorns. And while it's funny as hell, you still don't steal from a witch. So I hexed the hell out of him through that dirt. That dirt had been with me for months. Zephyr Green, how the fuck are you? Graveyard dirt is only good for a handful of things. Graveyard dirt is, grave dirt is endlessly, okay, graveyard dirt is only good for a handful of things. But grave dirt is endlessly versatile. See, now, when I was a kid, we weren't even looking for graveyard dirt yet. We were getting graveyard dust. You got a brush and you dusted into a Ziploc bag off of the tombstones themselves. Used for different stuff. A graveyard taken from a specific grave. Yeah. So, well, like I just said, so we got the Battle of Orleans right here, right? Now, way over there, there's a British flag still flying. And that is the British portion of the graveyard associated with the battle. So the graveyard for the battle is just right over there. So it can also go over there. there's the graveyards for the winning side, or the graves for the winning side, and the graves for the losing side. So you can spend a whole day there collecting dirt. But it's a national monument, so I did not collect any dirt on camera. Exactly. Good luck. I wonder if they just tried to spark it up. I mean, hopefully they looked. I don't know, now I think about it, I've never smoked Spanish moss. Maybe it's good for something. Uncle Bert's coming to you live from New Orleans. We've only been talking about magic so far. We could talk about the war. We could talk about whatever you want. If you want to have an extended conversation, not just listen to me ramble, you can hop in a box. I got many boxes, and then I can add more boxes, and then we can talk. And I don't have to keep reading. That's probably what they thought. I'm sure of it. Why would you grab a random bag of foliage? That's what you saw on top, was the foliage. You wouldn't even see the dirt. Why would you grab that out of a car? And who's leaving that in their car? You're taking a nap. Oh, Sarah Bobera is taking a nap. Sarah Bobera is going to wake up and go to my Cash App and my Venmo, link in bio, send me all her money. Don't ever go to sleep around me, man. I'll program your subconscious. Invite BBCA Cannabis Education to co-host. Now, I would do that, but that's, I'm sure I will agree with everything, because I've been 420 since 12, except for the 3 years that I was a cop, and then immediately back to 420. But that's a longer story, of course. I can tell you that story if you want. Wait. What violation? Repeated violations could. I didn't do it. What violation was there? Can I not say those numbers? Does that come up? All right. Any rate, yeah. So, but it's a controversial subject, so I would not want to bring you on camera and get the, because I already fuck on me. And here's the rain that I thought was going to be here. That's a great idea. You've been inspiring me for at least 10 years now. Ooh, well, yay. Right on. Yes, all the stories. Okay. So let's tell. I'm gonna tell you the long version of the story, because y'all like stories, right? You like stories? Like stories. Okay, I'm gonna give you the story. So I was working as a bar host for I think $5.35 an hour, busting my ass. I was the white guy. And the rest of the people were Latinos, and I spent most of my time just trying to keep up because they worked much harder than your average white guy. And I went to visit a friend of mine that was in the witchcraft class, one class ahead of my witchcraft class that I was in. So one of my, future maybe coven mates. And he was a security guard. And he was working at the, guarding the cars for the people that worked at the oil islands in Long Beach, California. So pretty much he sat in his booth and, waved at people as they came in and out. He never had to patrol, never had to do anything. He just sat there. He had a stack of witchcraft books and a fat sack of those numbers that I can't say. And I said, so, what do you do all night? He goes, I study witchcraft and, burn things. I go, that sounds good. You get paid for that? He goes, yeah. And I go, how much you getting paid? He goes, $6.50. I'm like, $6.50? I'm busting my ass for like 5, son. I've been busting my ass since it was $4.35. And that job, I was like, oh, hey, can you get me a job? Give me a job, man. And my job was not, he did get me a job. My first post was in Compton, guarding a Magnavox warehouse from the outside where the trucks had already been loaded with VCRs, stereos, TVs, that kind of stuff. So I got shot at a lot. It was not very cushy like my friend's post, but a long history of that got me into military contracts, doing security of military bases, government contracts, that kind of thing, making a lot more money. And then somehow all that security and corporate security and military security experience made me, a confirmed anarchist, able to land a job as a cop in the Port of Long Beach, Port Police. And so I did that as an anarchist. I was idealistic. I wanted to change the system from within. I helped people. I helped the weak. Well, the two biggest things I ever got in trouble for. First, I gave there was a lady up on the top of this huge bridge, stopped in the middle of the bridge, and she has a fear of heights, and it's a huge bridge, and she just freaked out. And I was able to coax this lady out of the driver's seat into the passenger seat and scoot myself into her car and roll it down the bridge until she was okay. My partner followed me down and picked me up. I got in trouble for that because I'm not supposed to be driving somebody else's car. I'm not supposed to, actually help the citizens to that extent. It was too much. Second one, there was this lady in a broken down station wagon with 2 little kids, a total soccer mom. And she's broken down in Cracktown, where people live in cars without wheels in the dirt. And she'd been there about 5 minutes. She's about to, her and her entire family are about to be devoured in 10. And I pulled up. And I said, Adam 35, I'll be out with a damsel in distress on Wilmington and 3rd. 2 things. Me giving that family a ride home a mile out of my jurisdiction. Okay, Hawthorne, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Me giving that woman and her family a ride home was 1 strike. A female dispatcher reported me for sexism for calling her a damsel in distress. I thought it was pretty funny. And literally, She was a damsel in distress. So that's the long story. So I do this job. I help people. I get in trouble for helping people. I let people go on ridiculous stuff. Like one guy, I let him go. I said, look, you don't have a license. Your car doesn't have a registration. You got a bunch of alcohol in here. You got a bunch of people with no ID in your car. You painted anarchy and all this punk stuff all over your car. And I want you to listen to me. I'm gonna let you go. And the reason I'm gonna let you go is because you're a fucking freak. And you'll never hear that again. So I want you to mark that down. I did weird shit like that. I had fun with it. But Rodney King happened just about 20 miles that way. And what we were being trained was how to avoid cameras, not how to not beat unarmed black people. We were being trained how to avoid cameras. So it's about 2 in the morning. I get called the middle of nowhere in the Port of Long Beach by my sergeant to back him up. I get there and there's already 2 cars, and they're parked in a certain way where when they're directing me where to park, we're forming a triangle. And we've all been told to turn our side alley lights on, the spotlight shining sideways from the patrol cars. I'm going, all right, this is a little weird. But, it's graveyard shift in Port of Long Beach. It's all weird. I get out and I'm starting to step into the middle of the thing, and there's this very drunk Latino gentleman already in handcuffs on the ground in between the cars, in the middle of the cars. And I specifically hear the words "Chinga tu madre." And apparently that was too much for my sergeant to take, and next thing you know, his nightstick is flying. And he's wailing on the guy. He got about 3 shots in on the guy when next thing you know, I find myself grabbing the nightstick and saying, "You stop." And he unsnaps his holster. I unsnap my holster. The other cops follow suit. They all unsnap their holsters. We're all getting ready to pull guns on each other, man. It was some serious shit. I just go, look, this is not happening on my watch. Especially not after that Rodney King thing, man. I'm not going to be involved in this. You should not have called me here. You should have called some other cop here. This is not happening. I am taking this guy right now, and you try and stop me, and we're going to have a really big problem. I am taking this guy. I'm going to put him in my patrol car. I'm taking him downtown. I'm going to book him. You are going to show up, and you are going to fill out the fucking paperwork. This is not happening on my watch, man. I'm not going to be involved in this shit. And I did that. As I'm driving him down to booking, actually, as I'm driving away from booking, I realize how fucked I am. Not only did I just stand against the Borg machine, that's my sergeant, that's my boss. I'm going to be screwed. I need to break the code of silence right now to cover my ass. So about, 2:30 in the morning, 3 now, I guess. I call my watch commander. I call him up, 3 in the fucking morning. I tell him exactly what fucking happened. And I tell him I want to file. I want to file fucking paperwork on that. Now, my watch commander was my sergeant's buddy since the 60s. They actually got kicked off the Long Beach PD for almost extending the Watts riots by beating another black man right as the riots were ending. And they almost started another riot. And they got kicked out the Long Beach PD, but since they were had been there over 5 years or something, they were like vetted. I forget what the word is, but they couldn't be fired outright. So they were transferred to the Port of Long Beach, where they both became my problem decades later. So my watch commander does not file paper. I have a chain of command that I have to follow. There's no way that I can file paper beyond that in the system that I'm existing in. And nothing's done to my sergeant. So I'm in the port of Long Beach, the best place to dispose of a body. I found many bodies. I spent most of my time finding bodies. Where I'm probably going to become a body. And my sergeant was still my sergeant. They routed all hot calls to my screen. Violence, shooting, anything. Everything went to my screen. It was not even my jurisdiction. It was not even my beat. They'd send me there. And then my backup would, I'm coming to back you up, and then the sergeant would call off my backup. But I had this former partner that was in his own car at the time. He would roll anyways. He would say that he's not backing me up. He would say that he's over here doing something else. He'd even call in shit way over here. But he'd roll and back me up every time. Billy Bob. Never forgot him. Couple times I rolled into a very desolate place. One of the first places was the old Henry Ford plant in the Port of Long Beach, and I was immediately opened fire on from 3 sides. It was small arms fire. It was pistols, which we tended to carry. We didn't even have shotguns in our cars because we were the Port of Long Beach. We didn't get shotguns. But nobody had AR-15s, anything like that. So I'm fired on by small arms fire from 3 different angles. Luckily, my training kicked in each one of those times. I hit myself down on the side seat, punched it into reverse, punched the gas with my fist, revved it up to full, like 10 seconds, and cranked the fucking wheel. My training kicked in. My training saved my life. Now, people have heard that part of the story. You may not have heard that part of the story. There's other shit going on. My high priest initiation was going on. And what I found of that was the goddess was destroying all known aspects of my life to prepare me for the life that I said I would lead when I was called by her. And she was calling. So my marriage exploded. There was my career exploding right there. It got really bad. It got to a point where I went out. I'm trying not to get emotional. I went out for about a week without a bulletproof vest and an empty firearm. I was trying to do suicide by perp. And I don't think I've told anybody that part before. Stand by. Then I went out, and around that place that I found the damsel in distress, there was this bloody woman, and bloody pregnant woman. She's about 8 months pregnant, and I asked her what happened. She said, my boyfriend, he beat me like this because I won't go out and work the streets to get his drug money. And so he beat me like this. So I found the guy. I didn't beat him. Oh, okay, I did do the watch your head thing and then not watch his head when he was getting in the patrol car. But that's all I did to him. All I did to him. And took him down, I booked him. Came back to the station, filling out my paperwork. Somebody's asking me, about the case. And I'm sitting there, telling about the case. And this voice came out of me that was not me. And it said, it was a very ugly tone. Fucking bitch probably deserved it anyways. And that's when I saw it. I'd often said that there are a lot of good cops when they just started, and there's no good cops after a couple years. I have not met them. You become one with the Borg in that job. I was trying to change the system from within, but the system was changing me from within. And when I heard that voice come out of my mouth, knowing that that definitely was not true, I walked in the other room and threw my fucking badge at my watch commander and never went back to that fucking job. That second half of the story has probably not been heard by anybody but maybe my wife. Yes, oh, it's definitely bone chilling to live it. They're trying to kill me. But they're trying to kill me for the right thing. Many times since Rodney King, we will say, you know, well, God, why couldn't... How did I smoke on camera? Oh my God. Why couldn't somebody do something? Why couldn't somebody do something? I don't want to co-host. I don't know. I mean, you know that guy. I'm not going to co-host with him. People say, you know, why couldn't somebody do something? Why couldn't one of those cops step up? You know, and George Floyd. All those cops standing around. Why couldn't somebody had done the right fucking thing? Well, I don't know any other cops that did the right fucking thing. I can only go from my experience of doing the right thing and what that got me. So I still would like to see some cops do the right thing, but I just haven't seen that. You show me a case. I don't know of any that did the right thing. I don't know of any that broke the code of silence, you know, turned in their superiors. I just, or stopped, you know, physically stopped a cop from beating or killing somebody right in front of them. So I'm the only example that I know of that other scenario, and that didn't work out. You know, righteousness was not achieved. I'm sure that guy that my sergeant beat, I'm sure my sergeant, you know, made up a bunch of bullshit on his police report, and that guy probably got convicted of all those things. There are many gangs around here. The policies are the same of them. Yes, I dealt with many a gang. First black guy I ever met when I was ditching high school was an insane Crip captain. That's a whole other story if you want that one too. Should just put story time with Uncle Birch up there. We haven't talked about war or anything. Yeah, well, it taught me a lot of things. It made me who I am. So I don't believe in regret. Every step has made me who I am, and who I am is a good thing to be. Everything has prepared me for now. Yes, I mean, I literally, you know, in cop school, I was a gang expert. I'm surprised I didn't end up on the gang detail. You were in war too, Jesus. No, I wasn't in war. But we were, the title is, let's talk about war and witchcraft. We haven't really talked about war, so no. I was really close. You know, all my friends were in the military, especially you hang around, you know, like, you know, cop types. But a friend of mine was in the Navy, and he came back from vacation, whatever they call that, and he got a really bad sunburn. And when he came back, he got arrested and thrown in the brig. And I said, "You got arrested? What the fuck is that about? Freaking a sunburn?" And he said, "Yeah, damaging government property." And that's when I looked at it. I said, "Wait a minute. Now, I want to serve my country and all, but property? No." No, and I wonder how many black people understand that part of when they're signing up for the military. Your property, 8 years. 8 years minimum. You are military property. So, When the time came, I said, you know what? I'm going to serve my country here at home. I'm going to go do that cop thing, man. I am not signing up to be somebody's property. No way. No worries. No worries. Yeah, I just kind of spouted them all at the same time, so that could be confusing. Actually, let's talk about war and witchcraft. Okay. In the we don't know a whole lot about the Druids. What we do know of them, it comes from poetry, verse, song. They encoded themselves into many things to where they're right in front of us, but hard to figure out what they're about. One of the biggest tells of the Druids is the Roman battle records. They kept really good records when they went into battle. They didn't bullshit around, and they told the truth so that future generals could, develop a better strategy out of what the last general experienced. The siege of the Isle of Mona comes up. It was one of the last Druid strongholds, and it's where we can clearly see that the Druids were not just a good old boys club. There were priestesses, because the way the Romans described it, it tells a person like me certain symbolic things that I'll tell you now. They said that when they arrived, the Druids were assembled in ranks, and they had their arms up like this, and they were humming in the same tone, and women were running up and down their ranks, burning braids of sweet grass and screaming like furies to the heavens. Now that's a ritual that would be conducted by a priestess, and that's calling the ancestors for battle. I know the components of that ritual. So those were Druid priestesses on that island. I think that when the Romans graped them later, they called them an island of nuns, or that might have actually been Anglesey, the thing from the Mists of Avalon. I think that was what they called an island of nuns, but it was an island of pagan priestesses. At any rate, wait, live in what? Don't tell me when my live's going to end to make you slide a little puzzle piece. I'm in the middle of a story, you bitches. All right, so anyway, so Druids are doing their thing. Priests is doing their. The first three ranks of Roman soldiers were frozen in fear. They could not move, and then the naked blue-painted Picts came charging in from the flanks and slaughtered the first three ranks of Roman soldiers while they just stood there. Now, eventually, the Romans do get their shit together and do ultimately conquer the Isle of Mona, but the beginning of that battle, that's some magic and warfare stuff right there. So there's a story. Uncle Bert's coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living. I do this all day, every day, somewhere. You can find me at gumroad.com /witch school, which is one word, common spelling, or you can go to my profile. It's in the link tree with my Venmo, Cash App, I think my YouTube channel. Even my online shop, which is not really online right now. I need to fix that. But everything is there, I think. I could use a reminder to use baneful magic against those who wrong me. Well. Actually, NPR has been doing a segment on revenge lately, and I thought it fascinating because I heard a lot of things that I have said. Um, Vengeance can be healthy. I was a spooky little scared kid. I call myself original goth. I was goth before there was a goth. But, black clothes, black hair, black makeup, carrying occult books around everywhere, that kind of thing. But part of the thing which I really liked, in addition to the witchcraft, is it made the people leave me the fuck alone. Stay away from me, man. I didn't want to deal with any of these people. I had to reprogram myself to be who I was. I was a scared little kid. I'll try and remember that question in a minute. Oh shit, where the hell was I fucking doing? Painful Magic. And as such, I got bullied. And every bully that ever bullied me is still right fucking here. They're still stuck in a piece of my craw. Except the ones that I got revenge on. Those I've released. I'm not really good at forgiveness when somebody's actually wronged me. And I always remember, here's a good example. Like, I was working, I was a bouncer at this place called Mississippi Moonshine, I think, in Downey. And there was upstairs bouncers, and they would bounce them down to the downstairs, and then we would get them off the parking lot. That was our job. And I'm not a big guy. Never been a big guy. Never, until recent years, I couldn't gain weight at all. Now, I gain a beer belly. That's about all I can fucking do. I can't gain weight, other than the beer belly. But, so we got these, they're two, they're off-duty Marines. Burly motherfuckers. And they're talking shit to my sergeant. And they're running him up and down the flagpole. I'm standing there, and I got my CS gas already in my hand, already got the cap flicked. I'm just standing there, all chilling, right? And they're getting ready to finally leave after berating my sergeant, and then the guy looks to me and says, "And you, motherfucker, you need to get your mama to feed you some steaks, fatten yourself up." I said, "Don't you talk about my mama. I'm right here, man. You ain't said shit to me. I'm right here. I'm doing all of the machismo shit that I never fucking do, but I'm playing it fucking good." Right? This guy comes walking up to me, and he takes both of his fists and boom, punches me right in the fucking chest. My chest folds around his fist, but my CS gas is still in my hand, where I come up and I go, psst, psst, psst. Did the mark of Zorro right across his face, point blank. CS, that's not even pepper spray, but that's CS gas. And he goes, "What the hell was that?" And then his friend comes running up at me and goes, "What the fuck was that?" And I go, "This got him too." Stopped him dead in his tracks. Seeing these two burly macho assholes arm in arm crying as they limped away from the scene, that lives in my heart to this day, and it's way better than if I'd let them get away from that with that shit. It's done me no good to forgive anybody, let anything slide. My vengeance can be healthy. When somebody's actually wronged you, fucking get even. What made me want to move to Louisiana? I came here in August 2019 for Hexfest. The magic of the town just took me over. Marta had a particular ailment at the time that seemed to disappear upon this land. It was just gone. That was enough reason right there. But we got back and it's like, well, shit, here in Hollywood, we got like 2 friends. We got way more friends there. There's way more stuff for me to do there, professionally, witchcraft teaching and whatnot. And we both make our living online. They have internet there. "Hey, honey, you want to move to New Orleans?" It's like, yeah, I do. So that was August 2019 we first came here. We're back in November, looking for a house, right around Thanksgiving. January, pulling up out front of this house. Couple months later, maybe 3 months later, COVID locks down the fucking world, man. It was an interesting time to move. I got to see, New Orleans in its prime, the French Quarter, and then I got to see the French Quarter boarded up with aggressive bands of rats chasing people through the quarter because they were starving, because the food that they were used to wasn't there anymore. Because, the question came up, it's like, well, where should a guy that teaches witchcraft for a living live? It's either New Orleans or Salem. I don't really like the northeastern vibe of the people in Salem. No offense if you're there, but I don't really want that. And after this year, when we had 18 inches of snow, no, I don't want snow. No. We ain't had snow like that in 61 years. I'm ready to wait another 61 years and never have snow like that. I can't believe some of you people live like that. It's just nothing but a pain in the ass, man. Snow sucks. Thought about New Orleans, but I'm afraid of storms after living in Florida. Well, we get way fewer hurricanes than Florida, but there's something you learn to live with. Haven't really. I think there was like some metal stripping around one of the edges of the house that came down during one of the hurricanes. I think I paid like $75 to have that fixed. That's about it. That was bad. Worst thing that happened, we lost power for 11 days for Hurricane Ida. But that brought the family closer together. I haven't had a conversation with my son that long since. So the snowy mountain can be quite something. Yeah, it can. My cat and I have evacuated from Tampa multiple times. We have not evacuated once. At first the neighbors, if the neighbors weren't evacuating, we were like, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. If the neighbors are evacuating, you evacuate. But nobody had evacuated. But Ida, everybody evacuated. But by the time the evacuation notice came out, the freeways were already clogged. There was no way out of town. We have, 2 dogs and 2 cats and a kid. And we just said, no, it's too late. Too late to evacuate. We're going to stay here. It was, quite a blow. It was very impressive. But other than that, the only thing that really happened was the 11 days without power, which actually brought us closer together. We learned how to, watch things off of my my unlimited data plan on my phone, stuff like that. But it was not that bad. But I learned how to cook many a thing on the grill, because everything was going to go bad in the freezer. I even figured out how to make pizza rolls on the grill. Wrap them up in a little bubble of tin foil and put them on the fucking grill, not directly on the burner, and they were as good as, in the toaster oven. Uncle Bert's coming to you live from New Orleans. I'm marveling at how good the mugwort, the Abre Camino, and the rue are doing right now. Everything's looking good. We had a lot of rain lately. Haven't had to water the plants in a while. I blew up rafts. I was going to yeet off my balcony. Yes, well, one of the first things that anybody taught us when we were looking for a house, it was Christian Day, told us, look, you need floodplain X. Don't buy a place that's not in floodplain X. Period. Full stop. It's never flooded. 3 blocks that way, they have floods. Or a mile that way, serious floods. Serious floods. It is never flooded here. We were fine through Katrina, all that stuff. Flood zone A, oh no. Yeah, no flood zone A. Witching Kitchen, how are you? Uncle Bert's coming to you live from New Orleans. Well, we've been talking about all kind of stuff. haven't really talked about the war at all, but we don't have to. That's not what people want to talk about, because I recognize that probably every live out there right now is talking about the same thing. So I never want to talk about the same thing. So we're talking about what you want to talk about. You all have been driving the discussion, prompting me to tell you stories. I think it's been fun. Hopefully you think it's been fun too. Be sure and follow if you're not following. Hit the little bell thing so you get notifications. This live's been pretty eventful, so I will probably post this on my YouTube channel later. So if you want to watch the whole thing, if you missed stuff, sometime tonight, it should pop on my YouTube channel. One of the best live streams I've seen. Wow, who that? Goddess Emma, if I'm not following you, no, you get a follow for that. All right. That's very nice. Thank you. I'm Uncle Birch. I teach witchcraft for a living. That's what I spend most of my time talking about. But I thought that, a lot of people would want to talk about current events too. I can do that too. I have political shows. I have witchcraft shows. I spend a great deal of time on camera. Like I was saying earlier, about my growing up and stuff. I was just, scared, shy little kid. And then I found myself in a position where I needed to be a teacher of witchcraft. And I reprogrammed myself with subliminal programming, self-hypnosis, brainwave generation, you name it. I reprogrammed myself to be the person that I needed to be. And clearly I went overboard, because since then I can't stay off the camera, can't stay off the stage. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I'm always posting or doing a live somewhere. I went way too far, but it's working out for the life I'm living right now. I have to go, but thank you for the stories. Definitely be into your content. Let me make sure I'm following you. Yes, I'm following you. Oh, you, okay, yes, I am following you. Well, thanks for coming. Blessed be and all that. Uncle Birch coming live from New Orleans, watching the world spin. There's an old movie, Excalibur. Merlin, of course, is a prominent figure in, Arthurian movies. And it always annoyed me that Merlin had this stupid metal hat on. But other than that, there were some good lines in there. Said, "Is a lonely way, the way of the necromancer, to know too much. Laclede Mundi, the tears of the world." Laclede Mundi is an expression that actually means something more in Latin, the stone falling tears of the world. When you tap in to the powers of nature, there are effects that you may not be planning for and that few discuss. An old expression in witchcraft: she changes everything she touches. Everything she touches changes. Well, what she does, she changes you to operate more like her, so that you can cause change in association with her. And that can be rather painful. Times of movements on the planet may affect you. You may be very affected by winter, and you weren't. You may be very affected by summer, and you weren't. You may become a horn dog in the spring, when you weren't before. Because nature has moved to make you operate more like nature. Now, the tears of the world are the tears of Mother Nature, and we feel them more than other people. And the longer that you involve yourselves in these things, the more you will feel them. And unfortunately, sometimes be driven by them. And it will be painful. It's not all white light and pink cotton candy, man. I ain't here to sell you into nothing. But if you wanna keep walking down that path after what I said, you can check me out on YouTube. I've been teaching witchcraft on YouTube longer than anybody that teaches witchcraft on YouTube. The only people that taught there longer than me have passed away. And then you can check me out at gumroad.com/witch school, WITC, or I'm sorry, common spelling. I used to spell it different. Witch school, one word. Or you can just Google Uncle Birch. A lot of those things are in my profile too. I have links for all those things. But if you just Google Uncle Birch, I'm the only one. If you're like Raven something, well, you can't be Google. Willow, no. Aspen, no. All those tree names. Birch, nobody picked it. The first tree in the Druidic alphabet of trees. The doorway to the other world. Birch. Nobody picked it. Well, especially not in combination with uncle. But there you go. So look that up. You're going to find me. You're going to find nothing but me. Bamber Spilling, how are you? Biggie Cheese, how are you? I think that's everybody that I missed. All right, Uncle Birch coming live from New Orleans, where it's like 90 something, getting ready to rain. But I got my magic shirt on. The Arctic Cool, man. It's amazing technology. They're not paying me yet, so I'm not going to plug it too much. But the cloth distributes the sweat, and the sweat triggers cooling fibers in the fiber. And I'm going, what? That sounds like some fucking witchcraft, man. I gotta check that out. No, actually, Marta got it for me for Father's Day, but that shit's working. And it's black. And it's black. She knew. Give me I might. I have this other shirt. I should put it on one of these times. I think one day Marta was trying to get me beat up or something, because she got me a black shirt. It says "No Woke Chicks." She's been wearing it around the house. I put it on for just a minute. I almost wore it to the No Kings protest, just as a joke, but, you know, people's senses of humor these days are just lacking, so I don't want to risk it. Damn it. Get another warning. Oh yeah, Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans. So we'll see what y'all want to talk about. Probably going to get going relatively soon here. But then there's the war too. And people have asked me, how about a spell for peace? And well, I like the idea, my hippie side, I guess, likes the idea. Hate feeds on itself. It creates a perpetual energy that is very hard to overcome with love or peace. It would take a huge effort. Once people get enraged, hate builds upon itself and it feeds itself. Love takes work. Love takes effort. Love takes sacrifice. Hate just wells up out of fucking nowhere. So anybody that can channel and organize and use that hate has a powerful source of energy at their fingertips, unfortunately. People following me. Hello, Chris. Pagan Spawn. I've been seeing you for a while, but I don't think I've actually run across a video of you. Oh, invitation. I think I just invited you to the live. Okay, I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to follow you. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, so if you're not following, follow. Hit the little bell thing up there to get notifications. If you, my, I reached probably one of the goals of my young life, to live in a world of witches, to where my beliefs and practices are considered something akin to normal. Although I've never embraced normal, in this realm, I kind of do. I want to be around witches. I want to be around like-minded individuals, and through social media, and then where social media led me in my IRL, there's very few people I know that aren't witches. Yeah, I got my neighbors across the street and stuff, a couple family members, but other than that, man, it's all witches. Witches, root workers, ceremonial magicians, you name it. And so if you're a new follower and I scroll through and you have something obviously witchy in your name, like Pagan Spawn did there, that's how I ended up following them. I'm gonna follow you because you're who I want, dominating my feed. I recently found a great website for books like The Crooked Path. Ah, yes. Crooked Path. And it's kind of, The Crooked Path is a saying that we had for a long time, and then somebody to write a book, copywriting that name. That kind of sucks, but yeah, The Crooked Path. People often, when I first came here on TikTok, people would say, how do I know my path? And I say, and lots of people give the same fucking canned answers, but nobody gives the answer Uncle Bert says. I said, you will not. You will not know your path, because it's a crooked path. It's a twisted path. It's a winding path. It's known by those words everywhere from the dawn of time. This path is twisted, it's crooked, it's gnarly. You will not see around the corner. You will look forward, you will not know where you're going. The only thing you can do is start out on your path, and then at some point look back over your shoulder, and then you will go, whoa, that's quite a path. Man, I got quite a path I've been on. But you ain't gonna know it. You ain't gonna know it. And don't get me started with knowing what witch type you are. I'm the type of witch that breaks molds and will not stay in a fucking box, man. The witch types are silly. But you will not know your path. You will walk your path and follow what moves you. And you will look back someday and you will either say, wow, that was a really cool path, or damn, that was boring. But that's how you'll be on your path. Well, all right. Well, the wife is texting me about random stuff. How do railroad nails relate with witchcraft? What can I do? Railroad spikes are, they tend to be iron, and they tend to be rusty. Iron protects from spirits, it protects from fairies. One of the most common ways of using them is to get 4 of them and drive them into the ground at the 4 corners of your property for protection. But a lot of other ways to use it. That's just probably the most utilized and easy to find more data on. So just wanted to share that I think I'm blessed to have a football field-sized graveyard 5 minutes away. Ooh, nice! We got them everywhere here in New Orleans. And then there's the battlefield, and the battlefield dirt. And if you miss that in this live, we'll scroll back, and look at my video called Other Dirts. It'll give you some interesting ideas. I have found my community through HexFest and filtered my circle. Next step is my professional circle. Right on. And you're coming to HexFest, so I'm going to see you, right? So, again, and thank you for reminding me before I get out of here. In addition to teaching witchcraft online 24/7 all over the damn place, I'm also teaching at WitchCon and at HexFest. And this particular HexFest, this August in New Orleans, you get 3. You get 3 classes from Uncle Birch. Every HexFest since I became a local, you got 1. You got 1 class from Uncle Birch. So if ever you were going to come to HexFest, you want to come to this HexFest. And this HexFest is off the hook. As far as I know, the plan was all of the people presenting at this year's HexFest are local New Orleans practitioners of one kind or another. It's going to be a New Orleans epic event. HexFest always is, but we tend to get people from all over the world, all different stuff. But this year, just New Orleans practitioners. So you want to get over there to hexfest.com, check that out. If you think you can't afford it, stop wishing and start witching. Do a money spell. You do a money spell in front of your gods, your spirits, your ancestors. Say, I want to go to this witchcraft festival where I can meet like-minded individuals and learn some new skills. They'll go, oh, well, fuck yeah. We will absolutely help you with that one, man. Some of the other shit you ask us for is stupid, silly, trivial shit. But that one, absolutely, will help you out, man. So get out there. Wildfires is good. Haven't seen that, but I can see that. I had some volcanic dirt for the longest time from Mount St. Helens. I wish I would have kept that around until I was a witch. I could have totally used that thing, but I think I lost track of it over the years. All right, y'all. So get over there at hexfest.com. Check that out. And this is the first year that they let me call myself Uncle Birch. I used to have to call myself Michael Correll, which you can search Michael Correll and you're going to find a whole bunch of other shit, but you search Uncle Birch, I'm all you find. I'm all you find. Get over to hexfest.com. Follow me if you're not following me. If you sound witchy, I'll follow you back. But I got to go do dad and husband stuff now. Okay. All right, y'all. As our ancestors used to say to remind us of the troubled times to which they came, and the breadcrumb trail that they left you to follow in the old ways. Merry meets, merry parts. Merry meet again, y'all.